Take a slow breath in and let it drift out, knowing there is no rush tonight, no task that calls for effort, only the gentle permission to rest as you are. In this moment, surrounded by stillness, with soft air moving lightly around you, the quiet of evening holding steady in the background, and the simple assurance that everything you need is already here, close and calm, waiting patiently, you can let the body feel supported by whatever surface carries it, noticing the weight of blankets, the ease of pillows, the hush that falls in familiar spaces when night has fully arrived. There is nothing to solve, nothing to chase, no lists to manage, only the small, steady rhythm of breathing that guides you deeper into ease. In this quiet space, we begin to turn gently toward a river, a calm river that remembers every traveler who has ever passed along its banks, not with noise or urgency, but with the soft imprint of footsteps and a low murmur of water keeping company with the land. Its current is unhurried, carrying not just the shimmer of moonlight, but also the lingering warmth of days gone by, holding memory without weight, letting each detail soften until it feels like a lullaby woven into the ripples. You may imagine the sound of slow water at dusk, the glint of lantern light touching its surface, the sense of a pathway that has welcomed countless gentle wanderers and continues to welcome you now in comfort and calm. Everything is steady tonight. As you settle into the story, you can allow the mind to rest, knowing the river will carry you without effort, the night air will keep you safe, and your body has permission to let go. As you settle more deeply into the night, the mind can linger on the gentle image of the river, a quiet place where memory is not heavy, but light as mist that rises above the water, carrying nothing away too quickly, holding everything softly. The river stretches wide in some places, narrow in others, but always steady, always flowing in a rhythm that feels natural, almost like breathing, almost like the slow expansion of your chest and the soft release that follows. When you picture its surface, you may see reflections, dancing branches leaning over the edge, lanterns glowing from a nearby path, or even the faint gleam of stars as they begin to scatter across the sky. Each reflection bends and sways in the moving water, never fixed, always gentle, never rushed, the way thoughts can pass through without needing to stay. This river, in its calm and simple flow, remembers every traveler who has walked beside it. Yet it does not hold them tightly, it lets them go in kindness, the way cool air brushes the skin at dusk, passing over, leaving comfort rather than demand. Everything is steady tonight. Perhaps you notice the way time feels softer here, stretched and spacious, as if every moment is longer, it's calmer, easier to rest within, and the water's rhythm is a guide to slowing down. The trees along the bank have grown accustomed to this calm, their roots reaching into the soil, their branches swaying in harmony with the quiet motion, each one adding to the sense of a safe place where nothing interrupts the peace. You might think of the river as a companion that holds memory the way a friend holds a story, gently, without judgment, repeating it back with warmth but never with weight, always reminding you that your presence matters simply by being here. When the air grows cooler, when night deepens, the water reflects the shifting colors, silvers and blues blending until the eye can rest in their simplicity, not needing to distinguish every shade, only feeling their soothing calm. Everything is steady tonight, even in the silence between ripples. There is a sense of fullness, of life continuing without effort, of a rhythm that welcomes your thoughts to grow slower, to grow softer, until they, too, drift like the river itself. This is the gentle overview we return to, an understanding that the river carries both presence and memory, that its calm can be your calm, that it flows without asking anything of you, holding each moment kindly and letting you rest in the safety of its unhurried pace. The river that remembers every traveler is not in a hurry, and as we move with it tonight, we will return again and again to its calm, letting each cycle of thought and image slow the rhythm of the mind until the only task left is rest. Imagine first the river's gentle surface, carrying light like a blanket spread across moving water. The ripples small and steady, the kind of motion that soothes rather than stirs, like the sound of soft fabric brushing against itself. A traveler once walked here, and their presence lingers only as a memory in the rhythm of the water. Not as a sharp trace, but as a softened note in a song that continues without pause. As you picture this, let the body feel heavy, like a stone settling into the earth, comfortable and sure of its place. The air above the water is cool, and you might sense how that coolness refreshes the mind without waking it. The way an open window at night lets in just enough fresh air to deepen ease. Everything is steady tonight. The river, again, carries not only the memory of those who have walked along its banks, but also the sound of their voices softened into whispers that blend with the rustle of reeds. Nothing stands out sharply. Everything settles together, and you may feel how thoughts can do the same, blending and softening until they feel less like tasks to be sorted and more like distant echoes that you no longer need to hold. The ground is firm here, covered with moss in some places, smooth stone in others. Each step imagined but unhurried, each surface supportive beneath an easy pace. Now, as another cycle unfolds, imagine a lantern placed by the bank, its light shimmering out across the current, reaching farther than it seems, yet never urgent, never bright enough to disturb, only steady, gentle, and golden. A traveler long ago left that lantern, and though the flame has been replaced countless times, the river remembers the glow, weaving it into its surface so that every ripple knows the warmth of light. You might hold in mind the way lamplight falls across wooden floors, or how candlelight bends against glass, steady enough to guide, soft enough to relax the eyes. With this image, you can let your breathing deepen, falling into rhythm with the water's quiet persistence, as if your chest rises and falls in time with its movement. Everything is steady tonight. Again, the river widens, and in its wider reach, it holds more stories. But it never grows louder or faster. It only carries more space for memory, stretching like a bed that feels endless in its comfort. You can picture lying back and sensing not only your own weight, but also the way the river itself lies back into the earth, pressing into its banks as if it, too, is resting. The sound of water folding against itself, the hush of small waves, creates a blanket of sound that shelters thought. In this cycle, you may allow your attention to rest not on doing, but on being, noticing how being near the river is enough as the cycles repeat. The river's calm repeats with them, like verses of a lullaby. Another traveler, another memory, another soft detail left behind and folded into the current. Perhaps it is a footprint in the damp soil, softened quickly by rain, carried away as if it had never been sharp at all. Perhaps it is a voice singing to itself while walking, the tune blending into the hum of night insects. Each impression dissolves, each story softens, yet the river remembers not with burden, but with kindness. As if every detail is a leaf drifting into the stream, circling once and then flowing on. Everything is steady tonight. The cycles continue, and each time we return to the river, the same truth rests there. It is calm, it remembers, and it offers you the space to rest alongside it. You may imagine lying near its bank, the ground cool and forgiving, the scent of water rich and earthy, the air moving with a light touch across your skin. In the distance, stars slowly brighten, the reflections multiplying until the river becomes a mirror of sky. It's another reminder that memory is fast and gentle when seen from a place of safety. The river holds everything, and in that holding, you can let go. Everything is steady tonight. The river that remembers every traveler continues to flow, and in this part of our journey, we begin to linger not only on its movement, but also on the layers of calm it provides. The way each detail of water, air, and memory creates a bed of comfort where the mind can safely rest. The surface of the river is one layer, smooth and gleaming under moonlight, carrying the reflections of trees and lanterns. Never rushing, always steady, okay? Like a sheet tucked gently across the body at night. Beneath that surface is another layer, cooler and slower, where currents move in silence, carrying leaves and soft traces of footsteps once made along the banks, where time feels stretched and wide, asking for nothing, only offering space. Around it is the air, cool and light, brushing against reeds, carrying the scent of moss and wood. And even this becomes part of the memory the river holds, the sense of night as a companion that stays steady and kind. Everything is steady tonight. In considering these layers, you might notice how memory itself can feel layered too, how moments of life sit one over another like ripples that overlap, each one softening the last, each one gentle enough to rest upon. The river clarifies this, not with urgency, but with patience, showing that memory does not have to press against you. It can drift alongside, like a lantern reflection moving with the water's pace, bending, returning, never lost. The clarity of the river is not sharpness, but calm recognition, the way you might remember the sound of leaves crunching underfoot without needing to relive the walk, or the warmth of a lamp in the corner without needing to light it again. These quiet clarifications are like the way stars come into view gradually, not all at once, but slowly, gently. As your eyes grow used to the dark sky, there are 5 simple elements the river seems to gather, and each can be seen in its flow. There is water itself, moving in calm repetition. There is air, cool and steady, brushing along the surface. There is earth, firm beneath the banks, carrying roots and stones. There is light, from moon, from stars, from lanterns placed long ago. And there is memory, woven into all of these. It's invisible, yet always present, like a thread that joins every moment without pulling too tightly. Together, these 5 elements create a circle of calm, an unbroken rhythm that feels complete, reminding you that nothing more is required. Everything is steady tonight. As this loop continues, we return to the river's role as a keeper of presence, a place that welcomes without question. Imagine again the ripples spreading outward when a leaf touches the surface, the circles widening, each one gentler as it moves away until they fade into stillness. That is how the river remembers, not by holding tightly, but by letting the echo move outward, slower and softer each time. In the same way, your thoughts tonight can echo and fade, not needing to be captured, only noticed and then allowed to drift. You might rest in the sensation of being supported by the same forces that support the river, the gravity that holds the earth, the air that moves gently across the surface, the patience of time that does not hurry. These are quiet reassurances, reminders that you are part of a wider calm. Again and again, the river repeats its lesson: memory without burden, flow without force, light without glare, presence without demand. And as each cycle unfolds, you can allow the body to sink more fully into its rest, as if the very ground beneath you were shaped like the bank of the river, holding you, steadying you, reminding you that stillness is enough. Everything is steady tonight. As the night grows deeper and the river continues, it's calm, remembering. The story itself begins to fold back on the images we have already held, like ripples returning to the center, like lamplight reflected more than once in the same pool of water. Each detail becomes softer in the spiral, each return more gentle. And the sound of water meeting itself is like the hush of fabric being smoothed across a bed, even steady, unbroken. The body may feel heavier now, and that heaviness is welcome. Like the earth along the riverbank that accepts each route, each stone, each memory without hesitation. Everything is steady tonight. You may think again of the 5 elements gathered here: water moving in calm repetition, air brushing with cool ease, earth holding firm and quiet, light glimmering kindly, memory weaving through them. A land in this spiral, they no longer stand apart. They flow together, each one leaning into the others, until they form a single softness. The water seems to glow with light. The earth breathes with the air. Memory rests inside all of them. And what once felt separate, now feels whole. This wholeness is not loud. It is quiet. A wholeness that lets the mind feel it does not need to wander. That being here is already enough. The spiral draws us back to lanterns. Their glow, bending over water, golden and slow, repeating across the ripples. You may picture one lantern becoming two in the reflection, two becoming many, till the river seems filled with small suns, each one soft, each one steady. The memory of travelers who once placed those lights is folded into the glow. And in imagining them, you may feel a sense of companionship, not crowded, but gentle, like the warmth of knowing others have walked here and rested too. The river holds them, and the river holds you, with the same care, with the same kindness. Everything is steady tonight. Now the spiral carries us to the sound again. It's a quiet sound of water folding against itself, repeating but never tiring, like a lullaby sung without end. Each note of that sound seems to stretch longer, as if the night itself has slowed its pace. Waiting patiently, encouraging stillness. The sound becomes the rhythm of breathing. The breathing becomes the rhythm of rest. And in this pattern, the body can release its last traces of effort, its last hints of holding. The ground beneath you feels wider now, the air around you more spacious. The rivers flow endless in its steadiness as the spiral nears its center. The story returns to the simplest images, the dark blue of sky meeting the shimmer of water, the faint scent of earth at night, the light touch of cool air across the skin. These are not new. They are remembered the way the river remembers, gentle, unhurried, without weight. You can rest in the knowledge that you have seen them before, that you will see them again, that each return is softer than the last. Everything is steady tonight. In this final turn, you may imagine lying near the river, eyes closed, hearing its endless quiet, sensing its patient memory, and letting its calm become your own. The night accepts you, the river holds you, the story settles with you, and as the spiral closes, there is only stillness, only ease, only rest. Everything is steady tonight. Good night.